How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Rangers Rundown. A very disappointing night against the Calgary Flames. The Rangers' second home game of the season turns out to be a pretty disappointing loss. So let's jump into it. Kakko is still on the IR, but he has been practicing, so hopefully he is back in the lineup on Friday against the Blue Jackets. Strome out of COVID protocols and in the game tonight and played pretty well. Lineup very similar. Lafreniere, Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin, Strome, Goudreau, Blais, Hedl, and Gauthier back in the lineup. McKegg out. Also Barron sent back down to the Wolfpack. And then Hunt, Rooney, and Reeves on that bottom line. Lindgren, Fox, Miller, Trouba, Nemeth, Lundqvist, and Shesterkin was in net. Into the first period, 30 seconds of Rangers pressure with a good chance to start the game. So feeling good. Wouldn't for a while after, but that's okay. Calgary pushes back. It seemed like the teams were at even energy throughout the first part of this game. Not many chances either way. I mean, Calgary definitely played the better game in the first period, but that wasn't completely apparent to start, I want to say. Maybe I'm just biased, but, you know, first part of the game seemed pretty even to me at least. 3 minutes in, Reeves, something happened to his leg. During one of the plays, he hobbles back to the bench and he ends up going to the locker room. Gauthier drives the net about 5 minutes in, so he's taking advantage of the time that he's getting with the Rangers. 7:39, Panarin would have a breakaway. It's a really long lead pass from Strome. Panarin was all alone, couldn't put it in the net. 8:57, Igor had a big save on Mangiapane, who would end up having a pretty good night. Halfway through, shots 7-3 in favor of Calgary. So both teams trying their best to get shots and Calgary actually getting them. Calgary, very, very good defensive team. Their sticks are always in the right spot, in the middle of passing lanes, blocking shots. Rangers really struggled throughout most of this game to set anything up, especially in the neutral zone. Calgary shut them down time and time and time again. Lindgren went to the locker room just after halfway through that first period. He took a shot off the side of the foot. Looked like it hurt, so he went to the locker room. He would come back, though. 13:41, Hedl had a partial break that wouldn't amount to anything. And then there was like a good 90 seconds of solid pressure from the Rangers. And Hunt was doing a very good job keeping the puck in the zone. And then Lindgren would come back on the bench shortly after that. Calgary player alone in front of Shesterkin, but he shuts him down. Shesterkin played really well for most of this game. And, you know, the Rangers kind of broke down towards the end of that third period. It's not totally Shesterkin's fault, but, you know, if your job is to stop goals and you don't, it's partially to blame. I think that's fair. 17:23, Trouba and Ritchie would take offsetting roughing penalties. Trouba knocked down Mangiapane like 3 times in 20 seconds. I don't know what instigated that. Maybe Mangiapane hit a Ranger. I didn't quite catch it, but Trouba had some ill will against Mangiapane, and then the lines come together. Ritchie and Trouba go to the box, and then at 18:50, Tanev would score a goal 4-on-4, putting Calgary up 1-0. 20 seconds left. Shesterkin comes way out of the net to stop a breakaway. He comes 20-30 feet out of the net to scoot the puck out of the way. It was one of those really scary things where if he was one step too late, Calgary player would have had a wide open net. Luckily, that didn't happen. Calgary doesn't give up much, and you can tell only after one period this is going to be a really long game if the Rangers don't play really well defensively, which they did for 2 periods. Won't say really well. They played well for 2 periods. Second period would be better than the first, and then third period just completely got away from them. Calgary outshot the Rangers 15-7 in that first period. Second period, Reeves is back on the bench, but he wouldn't play for, I think, the rest of the game. I think he would spend the rest of the game just sitting on the bench watching the team play around him. Again, Rangers start with about 30 seconds of good pressure to start the period. 1:55, Blais almost scores. It was a nice give and go with Hedl and Goudreau. Those are the names. And then at 2:09, an early goal from Mangiapane. 3:45, Backlund would take a tripping penalty. Coleman had a shorthanded chance on that. Dubé had a shorthanded chance on that. Rangers only had about 40 seconds of good pressure on that power play, and it was to start. And then the second over half of that power play just kind of fell apart on them. Just Calgary so good at getting sticks into the passing lanes, really blocking those pucks. I said that earlier, but it's worth repeating because this team, this was their third win in a row, and I think they're in New Jersey tomorrow night, and I think they have one more game on this road trip. They're looking good, and they play mostly in the weakest division. So the Flames, I would look out for them down the stretch. They might do some damage in the playoffs if they can keep this type of play up, because they played very well tonight. 2 really good shifts in a row for the Rangers. They're starting to control the play, approaching halfway through that second period. 9:23, Kreider has a really good chance, but then about 3 minutes later at 12:09, he would take a holding the stick penalty. Goudreau had a shorthanded shot. Zibanejad had a shorthanded shot. They kill that penalty off. They're 15 for their last 15. So the penalty kill for the Rangers actually really good so far this year. Power play, not so much. 17:53, 2 good chances for Trouba. And then about a minute later, Hedl had a chance. Lindgren falls into Markstrom. Wasn't on purpose. No ill will there. So end of the second period, Rangers slowly starting to tilt the ice back into their direction. Shots 11-9 in favor of the Rangers that period. So overall, Calgary still out shooting them, but in the second period, Rangers putting more shots on the net. More physical from them. They're shooting more. Again, Reeves didn't play that whole period. I'm pretty sure he didn't play the whole third period either. So we get into the third period. Again, about 40 seconds of great pressure. The Rangers started the first minute of each period really well. And then Calgary touched the puck, and they just took away with it. Shesterkin, good early save on Ritchie. 3:20, Killington takes a hooking penalty. Strome missed on a good chance. He looked up to the heavens thinking, why did I miss that? Lafreniere collided with a Calgary player, and while he was spinning and falling, he actually got a shot on goal. And if that went in, that would have been a goal of the year candidate for the Rangers, at least. Everybody was shocked he actually got the puck on net, including Markstrom. And then at 5:25, Hunt would score his first goal with the Rangers. First goal, first point this season with the Rangers, to make it 2-1. So at this point, as a Rangers fan, you got to be thinking, all right, momentum's back on our side. It's 2-1. We just came off a comeback victory from Ottawa. We're feeling good. And that good feeling would last about 3 minutes. 7:55, Gauthier got clipped, and there was no call, which stunk, because if that did get called, then Coleman wouldn't have scored a goal at 8:13, putting Calgary up 3-1. He got his own rebound, backhand right over Shesterkin's shoulder. It's a nice goal, just not one we wanted to see. And then about 3 minutes later, 11:32, Backlund would score a goal, putting Calgary up 4-1. And it was at that point where I said, this game is over. The Rangers came back from 2 goals down to beat Ottawa. So there was no chance that the Rangers were going to come back down 3 goals with 8 minutes left against a team like Calgary. There was just no way. 15-16, Lafreniere had a wraparound try. 18-24, Hedl took a high sticking penalty, so the Rangers on the penalty kill for what they thought would be the rest of the game. But at 19:55, Mangiapane would score his second goal of the night, a power play goal to break the Rangers' perfect streak of penalty kills, stopping them with 5 seconds left in the game. Shot bounced off the boards. Shesterkin was going one way. Mangiapane just put it right in. Easiest goal of the night. So he has a 2-goal night. Puts Calgary up 5-1 to beat the Rangers and win their 3rd game in a row. Disappointing game, but No team is going to go undefeated for an entire season, and all winning streaks must come to an end at some point. Am I surprised at the result tonight? 5 goals is a lot. Am I surprised they lost? No. This is not going to be the only game like this we see this season. I think the Rangers have scored 15 goals in 7 games so far this season. Yeah, I think this was 15. 15 goals in 7 games. So the Rangers are barely scoring more than 2 goals a game, which is not something we expected coming into this season. With the players that they have on this roster, I think just over 2 goals a game is too low. You're not going to win a lot of games in this league only scoring 2 goals. Shesterkin can play out of his mind all he wants. Some teams are going to put 3 goals behind Shesterkin when he's playing well. So this team needs to figure out how to get their scoring up. And there are players that are going to break out soon. We know that. It's a long season. It's only game 7 out of 82. No reason to panic with a loss like this. Like, if they lost this against the Blackhawks, or if they lost this against, Montreal, then we could panic a little bit more. But they lost against a really good team, so no reason exactly to panic. Stats at the end of the game: shots 29-37 in favor of Calgary. Rangers won 63.3% of the faceoffs. Power play went 0 for 2. Hits 27-20 in favor of the Rangers, and blocks 18-16 also in favor of the Rangers. The trivia question of the evening prior to Gallant: who was the last Rangers coach to win the first, to win 4 out of the first 6 games in their career or of the season? Can't quite remember. So who was the last Rangers coach to win 4 out of the first 6 games of a year? And it was in 93-94. It was Mike Keenan. Rangers did pretty well that year, 1994. That was a good year for the Rangers. But there we go. Rangers moved to 4-2-1. So they were, before the game this evening, in first in the Metropolitan. We all knew that wasn't going to last in a division like this. Rangers are probably going to finish around here somewhere by the end of the season, but who knows? It's nice to see that first place slot even a little bit. So 4-2-1 in their first 7. Not an awful record at all. Nothing to turn your nose up at. We'll see what they can do. They're back in action Friday night against Columbus. So hopefully they can make it 5-2-1 and keep pushing out some good wins. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next rundown.